The following program contains scenes and language of a frank and explicit nature. Viewer discretion is advised. In 5, 4, 3, 2, live now.
Don't know, Mike. I don't know what you're talking about. Hey, everybody. He's a macho. Elvin here. Listening to Mike Trash Talking Radio.com. The best in the business. Say it so much.
Wrestling fans throughout Radio Land, listen to Trash Talking Radio at TrashTalkingRadio.com every Tuesday from 7 to 10 o'clock. For you guys like myself, for you gambling giant, come on. That's my food. You're not that Trash Talking Radio Show from the beginning to whatever we have done is by using the screwdriver. Jack, Rose, the revolution, the other hand of the Washington Wrestling Solution. That's the Johnny one. This is Ivan Cole. I'm here to tell you about Talking Trash. The Trash, 7 to 10. Tuesday night, you got to listen in. It's the best around. The best is now. Mike Davis, the animal, one half of the world on the snake in the world where everything is up. If you know it's good for you, that's the Trash Talking Radio. Or now. Everybody go out and Trash Talking Radio. Trash Talking Radio. Makes it good. This is my show. You better watch it because what's going to do? What all turtles sweat. Trash Talking Radio. That's all on you.
This is the Vital Idol, and you're listening to Trash Talking Radio every Tuesday from 7 to 10 on TrashTalkingRadio.com. And remember this, Vital Idol tells you it's got to be true. And when it's on the internet, it's got to be real. It's Trash Talking Radio every Tuesday from 7 to 10. I am the top of Bob, the king of swing, the international rock star, way above par, the host with the most, Mr. Tuesday Night, the Vital Idol, Classy Mike Trash, and thank you very much.
Up. Oh yeah, I came up. There I am. Now I need to get. Darn it! Oh, where's it at? There. There you are.
Here I am.
There you are. Rock you like a hurricane. That's one we didn't do yet. We didn't do Scorpions yet. Hey, I found the rest. I found the rest of the shows. So the question is, okay, so seasons 1 and 2 are still. What is going on here? I'm hearing this beeping. Seasons 1 and 2 are available on Reelz, R-E-E-L-Z. Something is connecting and disconnecting. What is going on? I see this yellow flashing thing on my screen. I hope we're still in the air. I think we're still in the air. Anyway, so on Reelz.com, they own the rights to that. But that's the good news. The bad news is that they charge $5 a month. So that's for season 1 and 2. Season 3 and 4 are still available on Netflix, or not Netflix, on Peacock. I don't know why they don't have all 4 of them there like they did when I first started watching them, but they are there. but I did a little research because we're running out of bands to watch, and although there's other things I thought about too. If we just picked a band and decided to go for that band, we could find information on them without too much trouble because Wikipedia does a good thing. Anyway,
$5 isn't a lot. I could probably scrape that together.
Yeah, I could probably bring it into the budget too. I just gotta sit down and do it. I mean, we really need it for about probably 4 months, and we'll be through all the bands because we actually got through. We're gonna be through the second season of the ones that we were doing. So I don't know, but we got I think 2 more bands I think on this. If I'm not mistaken, we have the Scorpions and one other one. I think I gotta look at it again. Anyway, how you doing? How was your weekend? How was your week last week?
The week is good. I got my phone stimulator today.
Okay.
I have to wear it for at least 10 hours a day.
Wow.
On top of my boot that I'm wearing. And I have to wear it for 6 to 9 months.
Is this for your foot, right?
My left foot.
Yeah. Hey, that was a TV
show.
So
the good news is it isn't any worse. The bad news is the break isn't any better.
So it's a stalemate.
It's a stalemate. But there are blessings. One is that Patty waits on my hand and foot.
Okay.
So that's a blessing.
Okay.
And number 2 is it's my left foot and not my right foot, so I can drive.
Ah, yes. Yes. That would be indeed.
So I'm looking at the blessings.
Yes. Got to look at that because that's the important part. Well, that's kind of cool. I mean, I'll tell you a horror story. How you like a horror story? Which turned out to be a good story in the long run. It was a scary story that turned out to be a good story. So last Thursday we went to the school, but before we went to the school, we were there a little early and we decided we were going to go out and get something to eat first. So we went to the place that we went the week before because we liked it. It was a good place, and they have good food there. And we're sitting there, and I got the ribs, and I was very happy I got the ribs again, because they had pretty good ribs. And actually, it was better the second time. And she got whatever she got, and we get the bill, and I go to pay the bill, and my credit card's missing. My American Express. The American Express has $20,000 limit on it. So I started freaking out. I started thinking.
I can imagine.
I started thinking, well, I just paid that thing off. That means there's $20,000 open on that card. And I'm thinking, I'm like freaking out because not only did I lose that, but I also lost my driver's license. I also lost 2 other credit cards, the key to my car. I have a car key, which I don't use because I use my phone, but that's why I didn't realize it was missing. All those cards were missing. Oh, no, wait, that's a different story. Wait, is that different? No, that's a different story. Hold on. Oh, get back. Let me say it again. I was missing my American Express. That's the only card I was missing. I started freaking out because, I mean, I have other ways to pay for that, but I don't like that card being out there who knows where. So I did a little thinking, and I thought, oh, that's I said, that's a problem. I said that my card's missing, and I have no idea where it is. And I thought about it and thought about it. Where was the last place I used it? This restaurant is the last place I used it. So when the waitress came by, I said to her, I'm not 100% sure about this, but I think you guys have my credit card. Because we were here last week. I used it to pay for the meal, and now it's gone. And I can't think of any other time I used it. And she goes, well, let me see what I can do. And I gave her my name. She went back and looked for it. And she came back and she said, here's your card. And I said, thank you very much. But anyway, it was back in there. They said that when they get cards left there, they put them in a vault back there. And then when the person comes in again, we ask them to use your card. Or, situation like mine where I said I was panicking and thought I left the card there. So she, was my lifesaver, and I just couldn't believe that I left it there. Well, what happened a couple of days ago, which Christine pointed out, that's two different events. The other event was, I think it was last night or the night before, I overcharged my car to 100%. You're not supposed to do that. And I only do it for trips, like right before a trip. As long as you don't do it for a long period of time, you leave and then you get more mileage for your trip. Well, I guess it was yesterday. It was either yesterday or the day before. Anyway, I realized that I overcharged my car and I needed to drive it to get the mileage down. And when I went to leave, my cards were gone. My driver's license, my key card, my American Express, my my Visa, my MasterCard, all 5 of those cards were gone out of my wallet. I'm like, why? Why is this happening? This is the second time I've lost cards, and this time I lost a whole lot more cards, so I'm panicking. And I'm looking in all the usual places. I looked in the car. I tore the car apart. I looked around my chair. It was nowhere to be found. And I'm panicking. I'm like, I just couldn't figure out how I lost my cards. Well, so I keep all my cards in my phone carrier. I've got a couple card places here that I can. Well, what happened was when I sat down, I guess they fell out of their little holder. They were actually in my chair. That was the last place I could even figure to look because it's never fallen out of there. In all the times I've had it, it's never fallen out of that place. So I was like weirded out because I can't find it. And I spent.
So you're telling me if you lose your phone, you're broke.
I am more than broke. I am dead. I'm dead. Hi, Tina. Haven't seen you for a while. Yeah, it was crazy because I started freaking out because I'm thinking, okay, and so if you lose one credit card, it's bad. But I lost 3 credit cards, my key card to my car, my driver's license. Oh, by the way, when I drove around, this is before I drove around to drive the power down in the car without realizing I didn't have my driver's license. So now the reason that's important is I put it in the fast mode so that it would drain the battery quicker. And I was speeding quite a bit. I hit 100 a couple times. I was trying to get the battery to drain. So I didn't realize until I got home that I didn't have my driver's license or anything. So I would have been pulled over and he said, "Can I have a driver's license and registration?" I would have to say, "No, you can't, because I don't know where it's at." And I didn't know that I didn't know where it was at that point. So I was freaking out.
So in other words, I'm bailing you out of
Yes. Oh, what a weird life I've got. But officer, I own this car. Yeah, okay, everybody says that. It's but you don't have any identification to prove who you are. So, and Christine would have thrown me under the bus by then because
She would have.
she would have said,
you deserve.
She would have said, "No, officer, he kidnapped me. You better take him to jail. You better frisk him." So that was my weekend. How was yours?
Uneventful.
Well, anyway, so I got a couple other things that are pretty cool. But that was that was my weekend. I did get to practice on Friday with the old band, and so there's a piece of good news I got for you. We're going to be playing at the Moose in October 31st at the Moose Lodge in Shippensburg. So that's going to be a really fun job. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And it's going to be awesome to go out there and actually get to play music again and get paid to play music. I like that idea. Uh, we did a whole bunch of, like Friday we did a bunch of songs we never did before. We just started throwing out their ideas of different songs, and different people knew different parts of different songs, and there were some good songs in it that we ended up playing. I'm looking forward to learning them. So that's going to be fun. And yeah, it was fun. It was just, I would have told him you had weed. Oh, I'm allowed to have weed. I got a card that says I can have weed. So that would have been okay. You could have told him that. It's nice to have a girl on your side, instead of trying to bail me out. Oh yeah,
She could have told him you have a kilo of weed.
Yeah, right. Or he left his cocaine at home, or something like that. He's got women tied up. Whatever it is, that would pretty much teach me a lesson.
He's got a basement with the door having a lock on it.
Yeah, that's it. And I don't know what it is, but I hear scratching noises behind it. Yeah. But anyway, we had an eventful weekend, and this week, oh boy, this week's going to be good too. I've had nonstop for the past 3 weeks or something. I had no cards in my wallet, zero, zilch. Yes, I know, it was scary. But yeah, we've had a crazy couple of weeks. I've been running around like crazy trying to get things done and stuff. But this week's no different. I'm going to be busy this week because tomorrow we have my cleaning lady's coming over, and that'll help because I haven't had money for a cleaning lady for a long time because my money being used at weird places like having to give it to scammers. But yeah, so that's going to be crazy. And then tomorrow night I'm going to jam with number 2, so that's kind of fun. And then Thursday I'm going to record some videos of people doing ring entrances. It'll be kind of fun. And then Friday, I think I'm going to be home Friday. Wow, that would be different. Saturday, I think I have something to do. It's weird. I'm not used to being this busy being retired. I'm used to being busy being retired, but not this busy. So it's going to be fun. Fun couple of weeks.
Well, just to let you know, next Tuesday I should be on site.
Oh yeah. I got your microphone set up already. I got to figure out what camera I'm going to put on you. But yeah, I started working on that. I decided I was going to set it up so that it's eternally ready for you, so that I don't have to set up. Before I had your microphone set up, and I didn't have a microphone. I just recorded off the camera, but the sound was sound like we're underwater. So I decided we're going to have our microphones now. So as people can see, there's a microphone in front of me, and there's a microphone in front of him. So we now are using microphones, so we have better sound. So hopefully that will. We did that last week, and it sounded really good. And I think we'll have to continue down that road. So that's the way we like it. Anyway, all right. Let's get right into what we're supposed to do. I didn't do any RIPs this week, but there was someone that I think 2 people have to do them for next week already. But we got that, and then we have. I'm going to try to start doing a thing on movies again. The top grosses of movies at the week prior to is what I want to try to start doing again. Oh shoot, this isn't last week, so wait a minute. Let me see if I may not have done it. I thought I was going to do it. Oh yeah, here it is. So here's the top 5 movies this week. Freakier Friday did $37.5 million. Weapons I don't even know what that is. That did 23.8 million. The Fantastic Four, it's still out there. That did 18.9 million. The Bad Guys, which was an animated, Bad Guys 2, did 13.6, and the Naked Gun, the new Naked Gun, got 10 million. The reason that's really important is that they're actually thinking of bringing another Naked Gun. I guess I'll talk about that later because that's in the in my notes for just the TV and movie stuff. So, but I found that interesting that the Naked Gun did that really well. That they're going to reboot it again as a sequel to having it, and that's the way it used to be when it was out before. It started out as just that movie and then turned into a TV series after a while. I thought that was kind of cool. So,
Where is Superman on that list?
Superman must have dropped down. It was, let me see here, on last week Superman was number 4, so it must have dropped down to we did top. Oh, here we go. Yeah, that's last week's. Wait, this week it doesn't really. Yeah, that's weird. It doesn't really say. I would
Well,
think.
I have an anecdotal review. A good friend of mine that's into this type of movie
Okay.
said that Fantastic Four he did not like,
Yeah.
but he loved Superman.
Yeah. A lot of people. This is the second or third times they rebooted that movie, and it just doesn't seem to be catching on, which is really kind of weird because I would have thought that it would have done well, and I would have thought that people would have liked it, but it just doesn't seem. It doesn't seem to. I don't know. When I was a kid, I remember reading the comic books, and I used to think that it was pretty good. I liked that a lot, but it just doesn't seem to be catching on to where it should be. So I don't know. I always liked the show, and so it was kind of strange to see that it's not doing well. Okay, what do I got to do? I got to figure out how to do this. I thought I had everything set up, and I just realized I didn't set up my picture of the day. Okay, you gonna let me in, or are you gonna just be a pain? Okay, I'm gonna say no. Okay, I'm gonna say that no. I thought I repeat this, but I guess I didn't. Oh, here we go. Now. Oh, I did 8. I think it was, yeah, I think I did 8 auditions Sunday. Some of them were pretty good. Some of them were pretty fun. But the one that I liked especially was this guy who was a washed-up rock star. I had nothing to draw from. I have no idea what it's like to be a washed-up rock star. But it was really good. He's sitting with his feet in a kiddie pool. And he's smoking a cigarette. And he's talking about having a kiddie pool is much better than having a real big pool because you don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to have maintenance people. You don't have to have it cleaned or anything. It was just a really funny movie. And I said in my intro, this is perfect for me because I am this guy. So we'll see if we get it. It'd be funny. All right. Let's see if we can put a picture up here. Just have a picture for the day. Let's see, what picture should we do? I should have done this before, but I guess I didn't. Oh, what did I do? I didn't do that. I didn't want to do that. Don't be mean to me.
It doesn't look like a picture.
Yeah, it doesn't. It said it was a picture, but it's not. All right, whatever this picture is, we'll do this one. Jeez, I couldn't pick a worse picture than that. Okay, let's try this one. We're gonna have a good picture. No, that's me and Kalinsky. That's me in my puffy shirt. That's me in my beard. That's me in my beard. Gotta have a good picture in here. Oh, there we go. Trash here. That's it. Okay. Now we can start the show. Now that everything's together, we can start the show. Anyway, let's get into the entertainment stuff. I got some stuff for you to start out the day. I got some birthdays for you. I know that's your favorite part of the day. Let's see.
I'm just glad to get it over with.
Yeah, I do.
Ridiculously stupid.
I do that first on purpose. And it's actually an interesting list. There are a couple you aren't going to know, but they're still worth talking about. The first person I want to talk about is Michelle Yeoh. Now, you may probably not remember or realize who she is, but that's her. And she, I forget what she did. Oh, she was in. I don't know what she was in. Yeah. Okay. She was in Avatar. That's her claim to fame. And she doesn't
First
look.
or second or both?
She was in all of them, I believe. And I'll tell you, she doesn't look her age.
I have no idea how old she is.
Yeah.
I can't tell.
You would never guess. You won't guess because she says she's 63. And
Oh, no way.
she's looking good. I mean, this is the closest it looks to. You can see a little wrinkles in there, but she aged well. She looks good. All right. This one you probably don't know him anyway, but I'm going to say it. M. Night Shyamalan. He's a director.
Yeah, no idea.
He's
I'm going to guess 48.
55. This one you should know this next one. Would you stop it? What are you doing? This thing has a mind. I think it's. Oh, that's my phone. Let me unplug my phone. See if it stops. No, it's not it. Whatever it is, it's still doing it. Whatever it is. Huh. All right. Anyway, next person is All right, what is going on here? What's the noise? Darn it. I don't have anything. Okay, stop doing it. Okay. The next one, you probably know who she is. And if you don't know who she is, I don't think I'd be real surprised, but her name is Charlize Theron. She's a knockout.
Name means nothing to me.
Yeah, she's a knockout. Let me get her up here.
You are correct. She is a knockout, but I don't know.
She's played a lot of. One of my favorite things that she played was she played this. Not superhero, but she was like a secret agent, and she couldn't be killed. I mean, they couldn't kill her. It was really a good movie, and I can't remember off the top of my head what it was, but it was a good movie. Anyway, she's 50, believe it or not, and she still looks really good.
She looks pretty good for 50.
David Duchovny, do you remember him?
Name does not ring a bell.
Did you ever watch The X-Files?
Oh, absolutely. He's got to be 65.
You are correct, right on the nose. Ding ding. All right, we're on it now, one in a row. Next one, Wayne Knight. Now you probably don't know him as Wayne Knight, but you probably do know him on Seinfeld. He was the neighbor, the fat neighbor.
Oh yes. What's his name?
I forget. I know he was somebody that Seinfeld didn't like in the script.
He was obnoxious.
Yes.
Yeah.
They had this rivalry.
Let's go 53.
He is 60. No, he is 70.
He is 70.
70.
Wow.
Yeah, think about it. How long has that show been off the air?
Seinfeld's been off.
So that's a big thing. And he also lost a lot of weight. You can see in the first couple here, he isn't the big guy he was back when he was down here. But he was funny. I liked his role. Now, you may not know this guy. He had bits and pieces of roles, and his name was like Dustin Hoffman.
Yes. I have no idea who this one is. I've never seen him before in my life.
Yes, Newman was that guy's name. My sister popped up in the screen. It was Newman.
Okay. Dustin's got to be, he's got to be either 78 or 80.
87.
87.
He's been around forever, ever since we were kids.
Yes.
Remember, Tootsie came out like in probably 70 something? Probably. This next guy, you may not know him. You know his brother, Keith Carradine. Oh, I got to bring his picture up. Now, he was in a lot of things that were, oh, shoot, what were some of the things he was in? He was in, his brother was a kung fu guy. David Carradine was his brother.
Oh, David Carradine. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he was in, like, I want to say, he was in Dexter. He was in Southern Comfort. I don't know what that is. Duelists. I don't know what that is either. But he's been in a lot of things. But keep in mind, he's the brother of David Carradine, and the Kung Fu was in the 70s, I think. So he's going to be
82.
He's 76.
76.
Now this next guy, I don't think you're going to know him. His name is Don Most. Actually, you know him, Donnie Most. Potsy,
No,
or not
know.
Potsy. What was the other guy name? Like one guy was Potsy, and one guy was.
Oh, okay. I see one of them up there when he was much younger.
Yeah. This is the Happy Days. And,
Happy Days.
yeah.
Yes.
What was his name? He was Potsy, and it was the other guy. He's the other guy.
Okay. Let's say 78.
Close, 72. Okay, the next guy is another older guy. Ralph Malph. There we go. My sister's right on the queue. George Hamilton. He was in some classic stuff, but that tells you that he's really old. 'Cause
85.
86. You got it. There you go. You know who Ben Affleck is, right?
Never heard of them.
Well, here's Casey Affleck, his brother. I got the wrong. I put the wrong link for him. Well, that's really stupid. That was dumb. Casey Affleck. It's Ben Affleck's brother. He looks just like a younger Ben Affleck. I can't believe how much he does look like him. I never really noticed that before.
He looks to me like he's about 48 or 50.
There you go, 50.
Someone.
You said 48 or 50, 52. You said 48 or 52. Well, he's 50, so you're right in the middle. The next, I'm going to give you the one I think you probably don't know, Anna Gunn. Well, you surprised me when you did. Did you ever watch Breaking Bad?
No.
Okay, she was the mother in that, so she's 57. I'll give you that one. Then we got the last two. Chris Hemsworth, who was Thor. He was also going to.
47.
He is 42, so you're within the 5. Chris Hemsworth was supposed to play Hulk Hogan in the Hulk Hogan biopic, but there were things that led to that being canceled. Part of it being Hogan died, but that's not the real reason. Lastly, Joe Rogan.
Oh, how old's Joe? Joe Well, he's had a long career, so he's got to be in his 50s.
He does have to
Say
be in
53.
58, so you're within the 5. Good job. You did good this week. 'Cause I gave you a lot.
Yeah, Joe. See, I would have guessed something else, but I know Joe had a past
Yes.
where he was UFC.
Yes. But he also was, you know what he did before that?
No.
There was a show on in the, I'm going to say 80s called Talk Radio. And he was the chief engineer in that. And he was like I don't care who you are, I do what I want when I want to do type character. And I loved him on that show because he didn't seem like a smart guy. And it turns out this guy's pretty smart. So
Well, he's a good businessman too. He knows how to promote himself, and he's a good podcaster. And
yeah, he took podcasting to a level nobody else has taken. He's the one guy that's making money in podcasting, making a lot of money. So yeah, he definitely
he's a very good. His stick is he's a great interviewer.
yes. And if you want to learn how to be able to hold conversations, he is a good person to learn from because he knows how to keep people talking and people, basically, yeah, he's a good interviewer.
Well, he's good because people like to talk about themselves, and he knows how to draw it out.
Yes, I watched his stuff because it reminds me of the stuff I used to do when I didn't know what I was doing. And now that I know what I'm doing, I don't do it like I should. I should learn from my past, but I used to do interviews with people on the spot that I didn't know anything about, and it was challenging at times because you'd be put, if you interview a celebrity, at least you have something to talk about. But I was interviewing a lot of these.
Well, doesn't Joe have a staff that researches these
Sure.
people before they come in?
Sure, but I didn't have that when I was doing the interviews.
No, I guess you wouldn't have had that, but Joe does.
Yeah,
Joe Rogan does.
and when I started interviewing like these independent wrestlers and stuff, it's a lot harder to dig stuff out on these people because they don't have things, and I'd make them interesting, even though they weren't interesting in their own lives. I had to make them interesting anyway. But I was lucky that I had enough knowledge of the business that if I had to, I could make them sound good. So a lot of the guys that are on WWE now, I interviewed them back in the early 80s. So it's kind of funny to watch them now. Daniel Bryan, Seth Rollins, CM Punk, all those guys, I interviewed them all. Jericho, it was just really kind of cool to have them. Now Jericho was already a star when I interviewed him, but a lot of those guys, they were on their way, and it was kind of cool to see that happen. Now, speaking of which, the most really interesting thing in the news to me is that WWE has struck a deal through TKO with ESPN. All the pay-per-views are now going to be on ESPN. They made a deal, what was the deal? It was a 5-year deal. I think it was a 5-year deal. ESPN, here it is. ESPN begins streaming on August 21st, and starting the next year, they have a lineup. It's going to be $30 a month to get the streaming service. And they'll have the WrestleManias, they'll have the SummerSlams, all the pay-per-views on ESPN. That's something I never, ever in my wildest dreams would have thought that we would ever see, is that ESPN would have...
Do you mean you're going to tell me, let me understand this. You got to pay $30 a month for WWE.
Yeah.
And then you have to pay for the pay-per-view on top of it.
No. That includes pay-per-view. That includes...
And they're going to run other things on the streaming service.
Yes, that includes, like, if they have football, they'll have football, but whatever ESPN streams.
Well, they bought also the NFL Network.
Yes, I was going to talk about that next.
Okay.
So they're going to have all this stuff. They're going to be the biggest sports streaming ever. They did it smart. They actually, man, they rounded up the top notch stuff. It's going to come out. The deal with WWE is going to be, I want to say, let me see if I have it here. I believe they said it's going to be a couple $1 billion deal. I mean, that's just unheard of. I mean, a couple years ago, who would have said that happened? That was going to, I didn't see that coming. But they're going to have WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, and they're also going to have a deal with NFL, including the NFL Draft and the NFL Plus streaming service. So they really went all out on this thing. I was shocked when I saw this. And it sucks because I'm used to getting the pay-per-views for free through Peacock. But Peacock gave up their rights to this stuff because this deal is like, here it is. It's, no, that's not it either. What was the deal? I want to say $4 billion, but I can't. Wait, let me see what that says.
Are they going to do Raw?
I believe I think that's still staying on Netflix.
Right.
Here's the actual 5-year deal for WWE's live premium events, including WrestleMania, Royal Rumble. It says ESPN is paying TKO an average of $325 million per year for 5 years. That's freaking crazy.
So that's over $1 billion.
Yeah. And they paid, what was it? They paid $6 billion for the company or something like that. So they made a smart investment. They're eating that right up. I mean, they're not wasting any time with making deals. So that's crazy, but not crazy. And then they also bought, I believe, TKO, that they have another deal with Disney for the UFC. So they're making some big deals. They're going to finally see it. Well, I can't say finally see. They're going to see a nice profit on that stuff. They didn't waste any time on that because they've only had that for what, a year, maybe a year and a half. I guess a year and a half. So yeah, they've capitalized where Vince McMahon didn't capitalize.
But $30 a month is a lot of money for a streaming service.
Is it? Because if you're buying, well, it's true because I pay $16 a month for HBO. So yeah, that is a lot. That's twice what another streaming service would cost you. Yeah, because you figure Peacock is probably, if you bought the Peacock, you would pay probably pay $15 a month, $16 a month. So yeah, that's a lot of money. But if you're a sports fan, you're getting all the sports.
That is a Thursday night game, NFL Network.
Yeah.
Plus, people watch NFL Network, the draft. People devour the draft. Plus, NFL Network does a lot of good programming for the NFL. And so they're going to get all the wrestling fans, and they're going to get all the super football fans.
And the thing that is cool about wrestling is that wrestling is all year. And they have events all year. So whenever there isn't football, wrestling will be there to take up the slack, and people won't cancel that because then they have wrestling to go to. So I mean, it works out in a good way for them. and it was a smart move, a smart investment for them. So, it's
So what I'll probably do is I'll pay for it September through January
right.
and cut it.
Yeah.
And my grandson will probably buy it for the month of SummerSlam.
Okay. Well, I mean, I got to figure out what I'm going to do because I don't really watch anything but wrestling. So, do I really want to spend that kind of money for pay-per-views when I have, back when they first started doing pay-per-views, they were 40, 50, 60 bucks a piece. So, the fact that WWE did them for $10 a month for a while when they had their own website and stuff, you could touch all their catalog for that same price. That was, to me, the best deal going, and it launched their catalog up there. And because they owned everything, they bought out the WCW library, they bought out the WCCW library of Von Erichs and stuff. They bought out AWA, so they had all the catalogs of all the companies that except the one that's going now. You had a lot of stuff you could watch.
I just thought of something. I could maybe split this with my son-in-law.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
$15 a piece is a lot better than $30 a shot.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't figured out what I'm going to do because I got to watch the pay-per-views. Anyway, that's where that is.
That's a big deal. That is a big deal.
Yeah, it's a really big deal, especially the fact that they acquired the NFL and WWE around the same time. They're putting a lot of money out for that. That's crazy. What's the red zone in the versus whatever zone that they have?
The red zone is they show every scoring play in football on Sunday. So if you turn on the red zone, you just see scoring play after scoring play after scoring play. So they'll switch to the Eagles and they'll show a drive. And they'll show the Eagles at the 20-yard line and they'll show 4 plays to see if they can score.
Okay.
And then they'll go to the Los Angeles Rams and do the same thing. And then they'll go to Seattle and do the same thing. And then they'll switch to Baltimore and do the same thing. So you can see all the scoring drives.
Okay.
And a lot of people love that. They love that more than they love watching one NFL game.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's interesting, too, because Disney's not made a profit on their streaming service. So they're going big time here to make a profit. Because if you can only go one place to see the pay-per-views, you're going to go to them. So it's interesting.
They get Thursday night football,
yeah,
which people will pay just for Thursday night football.
Right. So, I mean, they're making I think they're going to probably going to make a profit on all this stuff. They better, because they're investing a whole lot of money on it. So it's interesting. It says Disney saw its revenues and profits rise in the latest quarter. It prepares to launch a new streaming service built around ESPN and Hulu. The company reported quarter 3 earnings Wednesday morning, revenue of $23.7 billion, up 2% from a year ago, and the segment operating income is $4.6 billion, up 8% from a year ago. Disney's direct-to-consumer revenue increased 6% to $6.2 billion, with an operating income rising to $346 million. The company added 2.6 billion Disney Plus and Hulu subscribers, with essentially all that growth coming from international markets. Disney expects to add another 10 million subscribers this quarter, thanks largely to the new deal with Charter Communications, which bundles the product with its TV packages. Disney Entertainment division had revenue of $10.7 billion, and well, in other words, they've got a lot of plans in motion. So we're going to see how they do with that. I don't think they're
If
going to
they
have
could
any.
buy, if they could buy Major League Baseball,
Yeah, that would probably be the next thing they try for.
they then would be a bargain at $30 a month.
Sure, because then you have everything. So, all right. Also, I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago, but this is the information on Mel Gibson's Resurrection of the Christ. It's set to be 2 films. So Lionsgate revealed that on last Tuesday, I guess. So we're going to see something with that. Let's see here. It says the Christ is being Resurrection of the Christ is being broken up into 2 films. Part 1 will hit theaters on Good Friday, March 26, 2027. Part 2 will launch 40 days later on the Ascension Day, which falls on May 6, 2027. The Resurrection of the Christ Part 1 and 2 are Gibson's follow-ups. So, did you see the first one?
Yes, I've watched the first one.
So, where does the first one take you?
It takes you to the death and putting them in the tomb.
Okay, so then they'll start from there, I guess. I would imagine. So, yeah, should be interesting. Last week was the anniversary of Hiroshima. It was 80 years since we dropped the bomb on Hiroshima. The military's use of the nuclear bomb caused the end of the U.S. war with Japan and killed an estimated 140,000 people over the several months. I think that was interesting, and we should definitely note that was an anniversary.
That has kept us safe for 80 years.
Yeah.
Because people realize the devastation that a nuclear bomb can bring.
Yes. Scary when you think about that, how much devastation that did. And
do you know the theory that keeps Russia and the United States and China and the United States from bombing each other? It's called mutually assured destruction.
Yeah.
They launch, we launch.
Yep. No one
Neither
wins.
country will survive a nuclear war.
Yeah. That's still a scary thing, though. The fact that it could actually happen. But there's enough time. We're far enough away that we could launch. If we find out they launched to us, we could launch and destroy them too. So I don't know. I wish we would have. I wish nobody would have ever found that thing, because it's going to end up biting us all in the butt.
Did you ever see Oppenheimer?
Yes. It was a pretty wild movie. And the actual movie didn't actually. The real movie started after it was launched, and you found out how everybody turned on that guy, on the one scientist, and tried to blame him for everything. Yeah, that was a crazy movie. So, all right, next thing. Come on. Can't get this thing to pay attention to me. There we go. Michael Bay exits Netflix. Will Smith's film Fast and Loose. Creative differences between Michael Bay and Will Smith. They've gone their separate ways. I don't know what's going to happen now, but he's not going to be involved in the Will Smith film. Let's see here. No, I don't care about that. So guess we'll talk about that when we get to it. But it's interesting because Prime has The Chosen, which we watch together or watch separately and then talk about. Um, Prime has been doing some interesting things with their streaming too. They've been finding some pretty interesting movies and stuff that they put on that. So I think they're. See, the thing is, when you think of streaming services, you don't really think of Prime. And at one time, I used to think of Prime all the time, and then you'd have to figure out whether or not you got it for free or you had to pay for it or whatever. But they had a lot of stuff that nobody else had. But the deal was you had to pay for the stuff that wasn't included. But it says here it's okay. Amazon Prime Video War of the Worlds is trending online, with critics and the internet mostly rebuking the film. The adaptation of H.G. Wells' 1898 novel of the same name stars Ice Cube as Will Radford, a Department of Home Security officer who is tasked with keeping Earth safe from an infamous hacker when an alien invasion simultaneously occurs. Critics have not been kind following its release last Wednesday. War of the Worlds made headlines this week for having a 0% critics score on Rotten Tomatoes. As of Thursday, that score rose to 4% out of the 23 reviews. That's pretty bad if it's that bad.
I will skip watching it with those kind of reviews.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. Is that when you get, I don't often agree with Rotten Tomatoes because sometimes they really went after films that I thought were really, really good. So, yeah, I'll probably watch that just because they say it's so bad. Sometimes those are the better movies. But, okay, next thing. Dave Bautista is in final negotiations to play the villain in the MGM Studios remake of the 1980s cult classic Highlander. The actor will join Henry Cavill, and Russell Crowe in the action fantasy, which hails from Amazon's United Artists banner and slated to get a theatrical release. So I haven't seen Bautista in a long time, but I understand that guy's lost a lot of weight. He used to be this big, massive muscle guy, and as he hit his 50s, he started shedding weight because I know for a fact that you have to when you get older. Because if I was 325 that I was a couple years ago, I'd be hurting worse than I hurt now. You feel that on your body. Just it's amazing how much different I feel because of not having that weight. And I can imagine that Dave is the same way because he took some big bumps and stuff. Major League Baseball's female umpire debut. Did you hear about that?
Yes.
Jen Pawal will become the first woman umpire, a regular season Major League Baseball game when the Miami Marlins face the Atlanta Braves. That's probably yesterday, so that probably happened already. The 48-year-old former college softball player from New Jersey began umpiring professional baseball in 2016, becoming the first woman in 34 years to umpire at the minor league's highest level in 2023. Wow, that's really cool to see a female umpire. So, do you watch baseball?
I love baseball.
Okay. Did you know about that?
Yes.
Okay. What are your thoughts?
I think it's about time.
Yeah.
Why should it be male-dominated umpires? There's no physical requirement other than what they did. They used to have a lot of really fat, out of shape umpires.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And they've gotten rid of them. They do have a standard now. You have to meet for physical fitness, but it doesn't exclude women.
Okay.
It includes a woman can meet the standard easily.
Okay.
So There's no reason why. I mean, the game of baseball is male dominated,
Right.
but umpiring doesn't have to be.
Right. That makes sense.
She just has to have good judgment and good eyesight. That's all.
Yeah. All right. Then I have. Let me see here. I tried an experiment with AI finding stories for me. So let's see if it had good ones. Do you know who the Warrens were or are?
No.
Okay. Did you ever hear of Conjuring and things like that? The Conjuring? Yes. Okay. The Conjuring are about Ed and Lorraine Warren finding all these crazy things that are on the occult. And Matt Rife, who was on America's Got Talent and was a comedian on there, bought their house, bought their museum. So in their museum, they have the original Annabelle doll was in there. And so he got that doll that was supposedly possessed by these demons and stuff. I think that's pretty interesting to. I don't know if I'd want to buy a house that is supposedly,
haunted.
Yeah, I don't know if I believe in that or not, but it is.
No, but every creak and every moan.
Yes. Yes.
Would even if you don't believe in it, it would freak you out.
Yes, it would. It would. Oh, this is weird. It's not the link, I guess. Oh, that's weird. Well, that story, I don't see that story. Well, it's supposed to be on there, but it's not. Maybe it's that. Maybe that page is the same every week. All right. Just like that was. I think that's the sequel to Sex and the City, right? Is that what it is? No. What is it? Yeah, Sex and the City. Okay. Let's see if that works. Why do I hear myself? Where is it coming from? I hear our show. I can tell it's playing, but I can't tell where it's coming from. It's got to be here. Okay, it is here. Okay, well, it's sounding good, so at least I can't complain. It sounds like me. Ben Stiller, his daughter is on that movie or on that TV show, and just like that, in a role with odd connection to her grandma's Sex and the City character. I don't know what did Ann Mira play on that. I don't know. I never watched the show, but it's interesting that Ben Stiller's daughter is on that show, and his grandmother or his mother was on that show, I guess. So, Buffy and the Vampire Slayer are going to have a reboot. I don't know why. I'm sure that I'd get a lot of flack about that. Sarah Michelle Gellar is training with Ryan Kira Armstrong, which is the new Buffy, for the upcoming reboot of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Then, let's see here. In starting August 28th, Vegas will have this is actually pretty interesting. I would probably go to this just because it seems pretty interesting. A fully immersive Wizard of Oz here. So they're going to have this fully immersive sensory journey, complete with wind effects, scents, and more. Did you ever go to Universal?
I went to Disney years ago.
Okay, well, Universal was cool because they had this. I'm sure Disney had it too. They had these rides, or what would you call it? Kind of, they're not necessarily rides, but they have I'm going to call it a ride for lack of nothing better. They had this. Did you ever see Twister?
No.
Okay, you know what it's about, right?
Yeah.
And you know the about the flying cow and all that was in the movie. You know, they saw a flying cow. Well, they had. This is really fun. When we went to Universal, we went for the Twister. It's not a ride; it's a stand-up. It's a walkthrough thing. But anyway, in that event, I guess you would call it. I don't know what you would call it. They had you would walk in there, and there's a scene from the movie where these cars were at this drive-in watching a movie when the Twister came by, and you see a cow flying across the screen because the Twister took the cow and made it fly. Anyway, while you're in this, this is a walkthrough, so you're actually walking in the drive-through, and the winds come, and you see it, and you see the cow actually flying by. It was really funny. I don't know if they still have that one. You also could use the Michael J. Fox Back to the Future. They had a scene, and you get in this thing, and you get in the car, and your car's flying because you're flying from one time to another. And you get in the car, and these things. I don't know. It's supposed to emulate the movie and stuff, but those things are really, really cool, and you get to actually live the movie for that section. But what was I getting at? I forget what I was getting. Well, The Wizard of Oz would be a lot like that. But is that what I wanted to say? I guess that's what I wanted to say. Just kind of neat that they can do that. That they can actually make you feel like you were in the movie because of that. So that's. But I would go to the Wizard of Oz thing because you could actually feel like you're in that. That would be kind of cool. So, yeah, that's another thing that's happening. Everybody wants to be fully immersive, so you can feel like you're part of the movie. You know, it's kind of cool. The next one would be. I don't care about that stuff. Okay. Blake Lively, we talked about her and that one director that they had problems. Blake Lively is suing Perez Hilton because of an alleged smear campaign because of her. There it is, because of Justin Baldini, whatever his name was. So rips Perez Hilton for churning out more than 500 negative. I don't know. I don't really care. There's a lot of news about Taylor Swift. It says Taylor Swift's
put out a new album.
Yes, Taylor Swift. That's what I'll go to. That one looks interesting. Taylor Swift teases surprise album on Travis Kelce. So I guess that's what that is. It's the color of your eyes. Such a nice color. She had 3 articles out this week. That was one, and then the other one was says it says Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce relationship updates. I don't really care. But I guess are they getting along yet, or is there trouble in the water, or what's the deal with that?
They're still dating.
Okay.
As far as I know.
Oh, here it is. In recent coverage, Kelce got choked up comparing Swift to his mother. Oh, I wouldn't want to compare my girlfriend to my mother. That would be suicide there. Oh. Anyway, that's another thing here. So let me get rid of all this stuff because this is all. All right, there we go. And we got this. Oh, come on, what's going on? Why can't I do it? Are we having problems with? Oh, that's weird. I didn't do that. I didn't do that on purpose anyway. All right, let's see here. So how long are you going to be in town next week?
A week.
Okay.
Coming Tuesday, leaving the next Monday.
Okay. So I go to the school.
We can do something.
Yeah, I was gonna say I usually go to the school on Thursday, and then that Friday is my one band is practicing, the one that I started with. So if you want to, we could bring you a chair and you could sit in the studio and listen to us practice if you want. But the school
That sounds like a plan. Mike.
Yeah, the school's going to be. It's really I'm so happy about that school. Man, we've gone from 0 students to then we have had like 1 student, then we had 3 students, and then we had 9 students last time I was there. Uh, Things are going. Things are starting to come together, and I'm really happy with it. Tomorrow we're going to be videoing kids' entrances because we're going to do like if you rent the school for a birthday party, we're going to show you what you can get, and that would be like custom videos for each kid that comes through the door. You know, that's kind of neat. I wish we had that when I was a kid. All right. I started talking about this. Naked Gun producers on sequel possibilities. So apparently they did so well with that movie, they're looking at a sequel. And one of the people that is involved in that was him. What's his name? McFarlane. So he did the Star. You know that they had a Star Trek. Not a spin-off, but it started out to be a parody where he had his own ship and he was the captain of that ship. He was a kind of a goofy captain and all that. He's done a lot of.
I forget the name. What?
Yeah, I can't remember the name either, and I used to watch it. I love that show. Anyway,
yes, I've watched it too.
He's done a lot of writing and a lot of. He's been in animated films and stuff like that. He's created animated films and stuff like that. He's really. I like him. Wish I could remember his show because I used to watch that all the time. It was a good show. Okay, let's close some of these windows here. Back on. Okay. All right. Then last, I think this is the last. This might be the last entertainment one. Eddie Van Halen's guitar is going on the auction block. How much do you think it'll go for?
No idea.
Believe it or not, the last one went for like $2 million. So $2 million for a guitar. A guitar. Anyway, they're expecting it to go for $2 to $3 million. Oh, let's see here. Yeah, it's the one he played Hot for Teacher on. Man, I'm telling you, people have too much money because they buy those guitars and they spend big bucks for those. But the thing is, collectors want what they want, and they're going to pay whatever they have to pay to get it, I guess. I couldn't pay $2 million or $3 million. It says here, the one on display in the band's Hot for Teacher music video netted almost $4 million in 2023. $3.9 million. Jeez. It's unreal. So, I'm lucky if anything they can sell with mine, that's anything. Oh man, I think of that stuff. That's a lot of money. Whew. Yep. All right. Let's see. I think I'm done with that stuff. Let's see here. I got this. And I got this. That's the end of the entertainment stuff from that. Okay, so now do you want to go to the Trump Elon, or do you want to go to the Chosen, or the
Well, let's talk Trump first.
Okay, I got a couple things about Trump that you may or may not have. The FBI deployed to D.C. amid crime crackdown. That's one of the stories. You hear about that one?
Yeah, I got a whole thing on
Oh, you want? Let's talk about it.
it. Okay, well, Trump declared a public safety in D.C. He took over the police department.
Yeah, that's unheard of yet? I mean, we've never seen anything like it.
Well, it's because Washington is not a state and it's not a city.
Right?
It is
Ah,
a protector of the federal government.
okay.
The Home Rule Act of 1973 states that the president can take over the police department for 30 days.
Okay.
And he took it over and he sent in 800 National Guard, 100 plus FBI agents that are going to be there for evening and overnight patrols. And AG Pam Bondi took over the police. The mayor can't do anything about it. To extend it past 30 days, Congress has to authorize it. So he's been threatening to do it, and he did it. Now, here's the dilemma. The data of the federal government says that the crime rate in D.C. is at a 30-year low, but no responsible person believes that because people have been fudging the data for years. And so how they fudge the data is they take a domestic violent murder and just call it domestic violence. And they take robbery and they classify it as a mugging. And that's how they get lower numbers.
Okay.
So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What cities have the highest homicide rate? Which city do you think has the highest homicide rate?
New York.
Memphis, Tennessee.
Well, okay. I wouldn't have seen that coming.
St. Louis, then Baltimore, then Washington, D.C., then Birmingham, Alabama.
Wow.
Now, what they do is they track it per 100,000 people.
Okay.
So what's happening is they don't have the most murders; they have the highest murder rate. Chicago has the most murders.
Right. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
So this is an epidemic.
Yeah.
Washington, D.C. is the biggest increase in murders from 2023.
Okay.
Washington, D.C. is a mess, and people are scared to walk the streets in Washington, D.C.
Wow.
So Trump ordered in the National Guard, took over the police force, and brought in 100 plus FBI agents.
Huh.
And the Democrats are screaming bloody murder, as they do with everything Trump does.
The lie about the status of crime in Baltimore. What was, you didn't mention? Did you mention Baltimore?
Yes, Baltimore is number 3.
Okay.
Increase.
Well, I mean, Christine's told me about a high crime rate in Baltimore forever, and I guess you're now
it's third on the list.
So you're now confirming what she said. I never really thought about that being a high crime rate, but I'm not from there, so that could be why. I don't know. It's weird to think that's so bad, because I never really thought of like, mostly when I go to Baltimore, I guess I don't go in the wrong places, so I don't see that.
Well, Inner Harbor, I think, is safe. Ask Christine, but I think Inner Harbor is safe. But it's the rest of Baltimore that isn't.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Inner Harbor. Yeah, that's kind of weird to think about. Now, do you think he did the right thing?
Yes.
Okay.
And he says he wants to do it in other cities, but he doesn't have the jurisdiction in any other city.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So nobody's sure what he's talking about because he has no federal jurisdiction.
Okay.
So,
All right.
and these liberal cities aren't going to allow him to bring in the National Guard and FBI agents.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I can imagine that would be an issue.
But Trump sometimes says things without thinking.
Really? Huh.
Just to get, he says things sometimes just to upset people.
I can't imagine that. That doesn't seem like him. Oh, man. That's crazy.
What else do you have on Trump?
Well, also with Trump, as she says, my cars have been used as drop sites for drugs and bullet holes. Well, that's nice to know. A cop got shot a block from my house when I was home sitting in our car. Just shot her. Yeah, she's saying it's West Baltimore. The lie about the status of the crime in Baltimore. Trump opened to summit with Putin and Zelensky in Alaska.
Zelensky's not coming now.
Okay.
It's just Putin and Trump, and it's going to take place Friday.
Okay.
And Trump's going to try to figure out if a peace deal can be made with Putin.
Okay.
And Putin's asking for the moon. He's asking for all the land, no NATO, no European soldiers, no rearming Ukraine. He's asking for complete domination over Ukraine.
Okay.
And
well, I can't imagine.
I don't know if there can be a peace deal or not.
Yeah, I was going to say I can't imagine Trump saying yes to that.
No, you won't.
So it's probably a waste. That means we'll be going back to war again, or they'll be going back to war again. But it just, I don't know. It just seems like such a waste of everything. Resources.
Every time Trump and Putin talk,
yeah.
after the conversation, Putin bombs civilians and kills a bunch of civilians. He is an evil man.
Yeah.
He is a very evil man.
And that country's broke too, right?
Yes, the economy's teetering on collapse.
So,
and that's why Trump thinks Putin may deal, because his economy is in such bad shape. But Putin doesn't care about his own people. He doesn't care if they starve or inflation is high.
Right.
He doesn't matter to him.
Oh, man.
He doesn't care how many Russians die in this war.
Right. Yeah, that's such a shame. Okay. So that's probably a waste of time.
Probably.
Okay. Possible tariffs on China for buying Russian oil. J.D. Vance announced that Trump is considering tariffs on China as a response to its continued purchase of Russian oil, though no final decision has been made.
The only reason the economy in Russia has not imploded is because they get money from India and China.
Okay.
For oil. And they sell it at a discounted rate. And India and China turn around and sell it to make a profit.
Huh.
So India and China do not want to stop taking Russian oil.
Well, that makes sense.
And they're propping up the Russian economy. So Trump is going to put a 50% tariff on India and China.
Wow.
Now, what that's going to do is we're coming up on the Christmas season pretty quick.
Right.
Just months away.
Yeah.
before after Halloween before Christmas.
Right.
So prices are going to skyrocket.
Hmm.
Right now, our inflation rate is under 3%. It came down from 9% to 3% under Trump. That is going to go up again
Right.
if that 50% tariff is put on India and China, because we get a lot of stuff from India too.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen, like,
India,
I can tell you that guitars, if you look at guitars, the back of the guitar, there's stuff that a lot of them were, at least Fender, did some stuff with India and Malaysia. So it's interesting to see that your guitar that you were playing may have been made there. You know, because who would have thought? I never would have thought that it would be like Malaysia, India, whatever, any of those places. I never think of things like that with being tied to that stuff. So
well, I mean, businessmen are going to go where the cheapest labor is.
yes, yep,
So Vietnam,
right,
Indonesia, Cambodia, India, China, that's where the cheap labor is. So that makes a lot of our products. And if we put tariffs on these people, the cost, businessmen aren't going to eat the tariff cost. They're
right,
going to pass it on to the consumer.
right.
And so Christmas is going to be much more expensive.
Yeah, seems like it.
And then Trump's approval rating is going to go in the toilet.
That's right.
I mean, he's walking a fine line.
I'll tell you, it takes a lot of guts to do what he's doing. He's not worrying about anybody's approval of anything. He's trying to do what he thinks is right for the country. And boy, it's that's talking about that's taking a lot of chances. But I mean, it's not like he has anything to lose. It's at this point, he is going to finish his term one way or the other. So
The only thing he has to lose is he can lose the House and the Senate
right,
in 2006,
yeah,
and he can lose, and then everything he wants to do will stop dead cold.
right, yeah,
That's the only thing he has to lose if he allows the Democrats to get a hold of the Senate and the House.
wow,
So
that's crazy. All right, next thing we got is Trump proposes evicting homeless from Washington, D.C.
yeah, that's part of his plan. He wants to get it out of downtown.
Okay. There's a lot of stuff about the homeless. Like Harrisburg has a homeless camp now. I don't know if you're aware of that. Up by the Department of Transportation, up in that area. I never really thought about the homeless thing because it's been invisible to us. But now we're seeing these camps and stuff. So now it's kind of like, I don't know, it's weird.
Mike, have you ever heard of Bethesda Mission?
Yeah.
Well, I started my career running Bethesda Mission.
Well, I remember you used to go there when we were in college. You used to hang out. You used to not hang out there, but you did some work there way back then.
Well, I ran a 100-bed homeless shelter.
Wow.
So I'm well aware of Harrisburg's homeless population.
Yeah.
But I did not know they had a camp. I'm glad they have a camp. That's what's needed, is cities to set up homeless camps.
Right. Yeah. I know that they want them to move out of there, and I know that. I don't know what they're supposed to do. I mean, they don't have a place to go. It's not like they have they can pack up and go home. They can't go home. They don't have a home. So it's sad to think about that. I mean, I do remember not having a home of my own, and I do remember having, in my situation, I at least I could go somewhere if I was forced to. You know, these people may not even have that as a possibility.
Well, we started a thing called Mobile Mission, where we took out a van full of sandwiches and hot chocolate, and sleeping bags and coats and gloves and hats and blankets, and we travel under to all the homeless camps. Did you know there was a homeless camp up behind Hack
Did I
near
don't,
the
I don't
railroad
think,
tracks?
yeah, I don't think I knew that, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah, we used to go there, and it's called a shanty town.
Okay.
And people would live there. They wouldn't even come into the homeless shelter. They would ask us to bring kerosene for their heaters.
Okay.
And we went all over the city. We knew where all the homeless were, and we would go to them. The sad thing is that we would find in the wintertime, we try to get the mentally ill to come into churches or to the shelter, and they would refuse. And then the next day we'd go back out in the middle of winter and find them frozen.
Oh man, that's sad.
It is sad.
Hmm.
But they were mentally ill and wouldn't come in.
Yeah. Wow. AI chatbot on Truth Social contradicts Trump. That's sad actually. It's sad and funny.
A lot of people contradict Trump.
Yeah. But his own AI doesn't agree with them either. That's kind of sad. It says, for example, affirming that the 2020 election was not stolen and that tariffs act as taxes on Americans. The unexpected neutrality is raising discussion around AI and political bias.
Oh, that's comical.
Yeah. Then I have Trump's new sweeping bill rocks Congress ahead of recess. Do you know anything about the sweeping bill?
No.
Okay, let me see if I can.
Is that the big, beautiful bill?
Oh, I don't know. Let's find out. Okay. Republicans see it as the epitome of Trump keeping his promises, while Democrats, it's an opportunity to return from political wilderness. That's what it says.
Yeah, this is because the bill passed. The big, beautiful bill passed.
This is from August 10th, Sunday. Earlier this summer, Republican lawmakers gathered around Donald Trump and applauded as he sat before the desk outside the White House and put his signature on one big, beautiful bill, is what it was called, yeah. And a few says, but there were few claps when Mike Flood this week, when the Republican congressman appeared before an auditorium of his Nebraska constituents to extol the tax and spending legislation benefits. Just boos and jeers. From where I sit, there's been a lot of misinformation about it, about the bill. Flood said, as the audience, some of them have been encouraged to attend by the local Democrats, howled, if you're able to work and you're able-bodied and you have to work, if you choose not to work, you cannot get free health care. So that's basically what it says.
It is knocking people off of health care, but here's the tax deal. The tax benefits we're having right now, we're going to end. They now continue. So
Okay.
There's no tax change, it just continues.
Okay.
Tips are no longer taxed.
That's good.
That is good. Social Security is no longer taxed.
That's good. I don't think I paid. Oh, I did on federal. I probably did. I don't know. I'm trying to think about this. I know I didn't pay on state tax, but I think federal I was paying tax on. So this means I won't get. Oh, that could be what my guy was talking about today. I was talking to my finance guy about the fact that I got to decide what I'm going to do on a car because my lease is up, and we were talking about what my options. He's going to call me back and tell me what my options are if I can borrow money from myself, from my retirement and stuff like that. He's going to let me know on whether or not that's a possibility. But I thought he might have said something about that, and I may have gone over my head because I was thinking I do pay tax, so I don't think So I'm kind of confused because if I don't have to pay tax on that, then the only thing I have to pay tax on is
your earnings.
Is if my business
Your
actually
capital
makes
gain.
money. And I haven't made any money in my businesses yet, but we're on our way. So there could be a possibility of us making money this year.
Well, if you take money out to buy a car, don't you have to pay tax on the capital
Yes.
gain?
That is correct. And that's what he's checking on is what my liability
Is
will
that-
be. Because I got to I'm going to get hit with tax once they cash in a piece of my IRA, because that's just the way it is. So my question is, am I going to pay tax on top of tax on top of tax? That's what he's checking on for me. So, I've been thinking about buying, instead of a Tesla, buying a Lucid, because there are a lot better deals right now. And I might actually lease a car if I can get a Lucid, because the $125,000 Lucid they're leasing at $850 a month, which is half the price I'm paying now for leasing a car of the same price range. So, but the problem is,
Or you could buy a Forester to lease it for $400.
yeah, but a Forester takes gas. I don't want to get gas. So, I mean, yeah, there's a difference between a $125,000 car and a $30,000 used car. So, and I've thought about that, but I want to stick with electric. I think electric is definitely my thing. I don't want to be like you gas guzzlers out there polluting our air.
If I could afford an electric car, I would probably have it.
You can, as of this next quarter. You can get a Model 2, which will probably be $25,000 ish.
That's not bad. I paid $24 for my Forester.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They made a car that everybody should be able to afford. Tesla makes that one of their priorities, is that they're trying to make something that everyone can afford. So I don't know what kind of mileage it gets. That's the only thing I'm waiting to hear on. Is that, that's the big key, and that's the thing that keeps me from committing to a car right now. Is I want to know what is available. I mean, I can return my car now if I want it to, and I have that other blue one that I just bought. But it's I kind of really want to keep my red one, so I'll probably end up buying the red one that I have now. Because it has full self-driving, it has everything I want it, but it doesn't have as much distance that I want. So, yeah, I'm trying to make that decision, and I could just give them the car back and then buy another one that's probably a year newer for cheaper, and I could transfer the full self-driving out of the one that I own to that one. And I could make out better by doing that, but I really don't want to give up my car. I got an emotional attachment to that car. I don't know what it is. I just love that car. But I don't know. All right. So
I had an emotional attachment to my previous Forester.
Yeah.
Until I needed a $9,500 engine job and a $4,500 transmission job. I lost my emotional attachment.
Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it. Oh, man. I can relate to that. Oh, it's funny. But we are strange human beings. I mean, we got to have our thing. Regardless of if it's the best thing, we just decided we want what we want. And it doesn't have to make sense. It just, we want what we want. All right, next Trump thing. Oh, okay. Well, you said it. Okay, this is from today. Inflation rises as Trump tariffs take effect. So this is what you were talking about, kind of.
Right.
U.S. inflation ticked up in July, with core inflation surpassing 3% for the first time in 6 months. Economists warned that tariffs expected to execute by October may further fuel price increases, which we already know. Trade war intensifies with China, which we already talked about, I guess. Kind of on the side.
Well, Trump suspended their 50% tax for another 90 days.
Yes, I think I have. That might have been. I think it's on my. Oh, maybe not. That was on that was on an earlier. Okay, and then it says. Okay, that one we talked about. We talked about that one. We talked about that one. Okay, I guess we covered all the Trump stuff that I have. What do you have?
That's the only Trump stuff I have.
Okay.
You want to go to Genesis?
Well, before we do that, I do have some stuff on. Well, we can do that afterward. We can do that. We can do the Genesis. I have some Trump, but I also have a category now called Musk, and Musk is everything Musk, but it's also EVs as a whole, instead of not just Tesla, but EV stuff as a whole. So I'd like to come back to that after we do the other stuff. Is that cool?
That's cool.
Hey, I saw somebody's face pop in there. It's funny because she's behind.
Yeah.
It's funny because I didn't see her. I didn't see her till she stuck her head close. Then she came through the cloud. I thought you were being attacked by some alien or something at first.
She just got back before the lightning storm started. She was out walking.
Okay. Oh, you have a lightning storm. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're having a lightning storm right
Oh boy. All right. Let's see. What are we doing now? We're doing Genesis.
now. Yeah, let's do Genesis.
Okay. Genesis. The infamous Genesis. Genesis had a story that you can't compare to any other band. They truly, man, they have some weird stuff. First off, the band is a lot older than I thought they were. And so when we're talking about, this band, we're talking about, there's two Genesises. So I guess Genesis morphed into this other Genesis, but the original Genesis was a Pink Floydish band in that they were all about
progressive rock.
Yes.
Progressive rock.
And
And strange, and had a very strange lead singer.
Yes. Well, before that, when you go back a little bit further, there were a bunch of friends that went to school together.
Yes.
So
Chatham School.
Yeah.
Chatham University.
Charter House School in I don't know what it is. Godalming in Surrey in 1967. So that band was a unique band because all these guys got along because they went to school together. So then they added, let's see here. Got to remember what order this went. The form was banned by Charterhouse pupils, which meant they were all wealthy kids back then.
Yes. Except for Phil.
Yes. Phil
when
was
he joined the band, he was not wealthy.
Yes. So we're talking about, it says here, the band was formed by Charterhouse pupil Banks, Rutherford, Gabriel, Anthony Phillips, and the drummer Chris Stewart. The name was provided by the former Charterhouse pupil and pop impresario Jonathan King, who arranged for them to record several singles in their debut album From Genesis to Revolution. Now, you liked Genesis early on, right?
No, I did not.
You did not. Okay, see, I was
did
not a
not.
big fan of them back when they were doing this style of music. When we were in
I did
college,
not like Peter. I did not appreciate Peter Gabriel.
well,
I never got into it.
the style of music, if you just take out what he did and just look at the
The
music.
music would have been fine. The music would have been fine.
And the thing is, I didn't dislike them, but they weren't my cup of tea in the beginning. Like The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, it was okay. It wasn't anything I was really excited about. But I didn't know about Gabriel being as off the wall. I mean, they just wanted the thing. So the thing about I compare them to Pink Floyd because Roger Waters and the guys at Pink Floyd, they were not a show band. They were not. They didn't care if you liked their leads. They were a kind of band that would just kind of hang out in the. They would play their instruments, and they would not be anything special. They weren't flipping their guitars around. They weren't playing really wild, crazy stuff. They weren't running across the stage. They were playing their instruments, and that's what Genesis was. The early Genesis really pretty much did that. It wasn't until Gabriel, when he came in the thing, it was really funny because they said, we want to be a band that we just go on stage and we sit there and we play. And Gabriel did not want to do that. He just decided, I'm going to do whatever I can to make an impression, and he did that. So in the middle of a performance, with no,
he walked off stage
yes,
without telling anyone. He came back out in a red dress
and
with a fox head on his head.
Yes,
Fox mouth.
And I think it's funny, but that is just the opposite of what the members of Genesis wanted. They did not want that at all. They did not want him to do anything like that.
Mike Rutherford did not want that at all. He's the one that wanted them to be just a instrumental band.
That's right.
Known for its music precision.
Yes. So you couldn't be further away from that than have your singer disappear on stage and not tell anybody. No one knew. The band didn't even know what he was doing. And so they didn't. When I think about that, I just crack up every time I think of that. It's like, your singer just disappears and comes back in a dress with a freaking fox's head on. But it worked though for getting attention.
Publicity.
And
they got a lot of attention.
And as we saw, as Peter Gabriel changed through the years, that was his gimmick. He pretty much stuck with that, even when he was doing his solo stuff. That was what he was into. He was into performance art, which is totally different than what they wanted. But Genesis sold 100 million albums. 100 million albums. That's just freaking insane. And the last two people that joined the band were Steve Hackett and Phil Collins. But Tony Banks said it should be serious and we should sit while playing. And that wasn't what happened. I can't imagine that. But I remember hearing their names and I remember hearing their songs and I thought, it's not really my cup of tea. It's really, I wanted something a little harder edge. And so it was kind of funny that that band became what they ended up becoming, because off that beginning.
They were really a pop band at the end.
And what they
I listened to about 10 to 15. No, I listened to about 15 of their songs today under Collins.
Okay.
And I remember probably 11 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Because they had such radio play.
Well,
that you couldn't get away from.
But that's the thing that I think is really funny, is that when Collins ended up being their singer, he ended up doing the opposite of what Phil Collins did, or what Gabriel did, but he went in a different direction of pop, and that was the last thing that band wanted to be, was a pop band. They wanted to be a creative band. And
well, creative band didn't pay the bills.
right, yeah, they were very, very in debt.
Yes,
And,
$300,000 back then. That was a lot of money.
Yeah, during the 70s. We're talking about. Yeah, I mean, the songs back then, I don't even remember any of those songs. I'm looking at the album here where it says their debut album, From Genesis to Revolution, in 1969. And then after splitting with King, the band began touring, signed with Charisma, and shifted progressive rock to their succeeding album, Trespass. Phillips departed from the album's recording, with Banks, Rutherford, and Gabriel recruiting Collins and Hackett before recording Nursery Crime in '71. See, I don't remember any of these. Or then I was really young at that point. And Foxtrot was their first charting album in the UK. I mean, their big goal was to play in the US, and back then it wasn't as easy to do that. You got to prove yourself where you're at, and all the bands were having that situation. Collins took over as the singer in '76. Hackett left the band in '77, reducing it to a three-piece of Banks, Rutherford, and Collins. Their ninth album, and then there were three. That's when they started making some traction. So, and that had Follow You, Follow Me in it. That was their first big one. I remember that one, and then I thought, oh, this band has some possibilities. And then when they came out with Abacab in '81, Genesis in '83, Invisible Touch in '86, We Can't Dance in '91. The one thing about the We Can't Dance that cracks me up is that was about, they didn't want to be dancers. They just wanted to be musicians. They didn't want to have to perform as more than musicians. And that generation, they wanted, that's the MTV. Well, that's after the MTV generation. But still, they really did. When Collins left there, they put another singer in there. That didn't do anything for him. I don't think anybody really cared about that. But it's really interesting that Collins wanted. He ended up screwing both of his marriages up, and I felt bad for him when I realized his wife moved out with the baby, because he had a choice of going on tour or
to Vancouver. I mean, you couldn't have gone from England to Vancouver. You couldn't have gone much further away.
Yeah. And actually, it says here with between 100 million and 150 million sold worldwide, Genesis are one of the world's best-selling music artists, and their discography includes 15 studio and 6 live albums. They won numerous awards, including a Grammy for Best Concept Music Video. I remember Land of Confusion. It's funny when you think about it. That Land of Confusion was exactly the opposite of what those guys wanted to play, because that was as cartoonish as it gets. It definitely would have been everything that they.
Well, I remember that Phil Collins, when he went off in his single career,
right,
he saturated himself.
Yes,
he was everywhere all the time.
He was smart. He was smart about it. The other two just were too headstrong about wanting to do this art like a painting. They didn't want all the theatrics and all that stuff. But they would not be where they are now if they didn't have that. If it weren't for Collins bringing that part into the band, and he had all the power too because he made all the big hits. Rutherford did some good stuff on the side, but nothing where Collins did.
What was the name of Rutherford's group?
Mike and the Mechanics.
Yes, Mike and the Mechanics.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, they. It's just when I think about the band now and that music that they did in their second generation, where Collins was in charge, is where they had to be. As good as their stuff was, nobody was going to spend the money on it. People want to see a show. You know, if they wanted to just hear music, they'd turn on the radio or put the record on and listen to it. But people want to see a show. They don't want to see you sitting there playing your guitar. So, and the thing is, in the Air Tonight, I agree with them. That big drum sound, that was a sound that woke people up, and that is probably my favorite sound of theirs that they had, was that big drum sound they had. It was so obnoxious, but it was so good. So
well, it really took drummers into another atmosphere.
Yes,
they could be a star of instead of just rhythm, they could actually lead a song.
Yeah. And it's funny, we're talking about these bands that all kind of started around the same time. They all started either in the 60s or 70s, and a few in the 80s. But so far, most of the ones we talked about had an early start in the 60s or the late 60s and the 70s were their big launch. And very few of them made it out without scars. There were many of those guys kept trying to do it. And the other thing that was interesting was that they were getting, I think that he said $150 a week at one point. And this is a big rock band. They're getting $150 a week. What's that?
Huge.
Yeah,
huge.
yeah.
And they were making $150 a week.
And yet the amount of money they were bringing in, I would imagine, was pretty hefty. But when you're doing those tours like they were doing. But it's interesting. I really think it's the things that I found about. But what was the other thing that? Where did I put the marks? Hold on. I marked some things in that I wanted to say. Oh, here we go. Phil Collins said, my real worry was actually what to say to the audience, because Peter always had this offbeat charisma that gave the band a strange aura. I was much more friendly and approachable. I spent more time worrying about what to say between songs than I did about what I was going to do once the songs were started. Because, some guys like Gabriel, their whole gig was just to be outrageous and get a
We've seen that in a number of bands.
Yeah.
Going over.
Yeah, those bands.
A crazy frontman is wanted.
It's funny because every band that I've been in, everyone worries about. Well, the one question that the one band asked me is, are you wanting to join a band, or do you want the band to back you up? That was a dangerous question, and how I could answer that could have killed me. And I told them the truth. I said, I just want to play. I'm not looking for a band to back me up. I'm looking to be in a band. Now, the issue is, and everyone knows the issue, is that whenever there's a question about something with the band, the person that's always going to be the guy that has to answer it is the front man. Whether or not he did it, or whether or not he's the troublemaker, or whatever, he's always the guy they come to. I don't know how many bands I've been in that Well, I've usually been the guy that was in charge anyway, but this is the first band that I've been in that I'm not in charge of, and I'm okay with that. But everyone's going to come to me because I'm the face of the band, for better or for worse. And that's what Phil Collins ran into when he became the singer. Even though when he was behind the drum set, he was singer, or sometimes when he was out front, he was singer. So that's a strange situation to be in, but it does happen, and so. And then there were three. Let's see what happened. What else did I put for color there? They were. It's just weird to think about that they weren't making money with all the albums that they sold, and it took them a long. I mean, they were going on tour with other bands, and they still weren't making any money. That's a weird thing, but it's true because the band that is the headliner is making all the money, but they got the notoriety that they needed to. So, all right, what's next?
The Chosen.
I just want to see if I had any other. Wanted to make sure I did try to highlight certain things. Looks like we carried it all. But once they got into Abacab and stuff like that, they started really putting out some good songs. So I wouldn't mind doing a song or two of theirs. Yeah. All right, we can go on to The Chosen. What do we got here? Oh, we have plenty of time. All right, Chosen. We are episode 4.
Yes.
Season 2. Now this I made a realization of something that I need to share with you about this show. One of the things that I didn't like about the show until I started watching it differently. They tend to so this episode is all centered around a boy who Jesse, who falls from a tree and becomes paralyzed, lives his whole life as a paralyzed person. His brother left to is that a zealot? Left to become a zealot, hoping for liberation through violence. The brothers are deeply estranged because he feel the one felt abandoned because he couldn't walk, couldn't do much. So as Simon led an assassination plot. So here's the issue I had. Okay, so all this is done without any dialogue. So we're watching it. I don't know anybody's names, and this kid falls. He's paralyzed. The only reason I knew this is I got notes for this. But if I was watching this without notes, and being someone that have not read the Bible, I would be lost. Remember in the beginning I said I was really confused about a lot of the ways they were telling their story. And in the beginning I didn't like it. Well, I started doing research before I watched the episode now. So I know what I'm watching. I know who's who and stuff like that. I don't think that they clearly disclose who is who sometimes, and it confuses me. And even in this episode, I thought, well, if I didn't have my notes, I wouldn't have known what was going on here. I wouldn't have known about what the water was or any of this stuff. I think the problem is they write the script with it in mind that you've read the Bible. And that's not really how you should approach this, because when you run into people that don't read the Bible or haven't read the Bible, you're going to lose your audience there. You're going to lose that segment of the audience. We need to have someone tell a story from the perspective of nothing about the Bible. And that's how it should be pursued. Because you're going to lose people like me because we're saying, well, so the guy, I didn't even know that was the. I wouldn't have even known that. Well, I would have known that that guy was the paralyzed kid, but the way they did it, it doesn't tie everything together. It assumes you know a bit about it, and that's the biggest problem I have with it is that the storytelling. Once you have the notes, once I bring out the notes and I read this, and I read the notes first because a couple episodes were really confusing to me till I did that, till I started reading the notes. But I got these notes, and it talks about Jesus, John 5:1-15, heals the paralytic at the pool of Bethesda. See, now I didn't even know what that was. I didn't understand that, but I thought, okay, well, we'll see what it is. And so let me ask you about this pool. What is this? What is this? Is this something that really was supposed to be there? There was a pool that would heal?
There was a pool, and it was sitting on top of a hot spring.
Oh, okay.
Sort of like a geyser. But the Jews believed that an angel would come down from heaven, touch the water, and then the first person into that hot spring
Got it.
would get healed.
Okay. But that wasn't.
That was the rush. That was the rush of people trying to be the first one in.
Okay. So there wasn't any healing really happening there.
No.
It was all smoke and mirrors. Okay, that was the first question I had because I didn't understand. I never knew about this water healing thing, and so I was confused about that. So Jesus knew that was fake. It was a scam.
Pretty much.
And that's why he said.
Because if you remember the scene, Simon asked. They said, "How? Would you tell me about the water?" And Simon says, "Well, Jesus knows about the water." But Jesus didn't answer the question. He
Yes.
said someone will figure it out when everybody knows.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't an angel coming down from heaven and touching that water.
Right.
It was a hot spring geyser.
Well, it was really confusing to me about that because, I never knew about.
See, you'd have to know biblical history
Right.
to know that.
And the thing is, if they want to meet the average Joe isn't going to know that stuff. I didn't know that. I don't know. I'm not really an average Joe because I don't go to church and I don't read the Bible on a regular basis. And so it was very confusing to me what was going on. I thought, well, if they set up when I say they, I was thinking if God set up this healing pool, why would he set it up for one person only? And to me that was it just didn't make sense to me. So I wanted to get a clarification on what that was all about. So what you're telling me is it didn't do anything. It was just a hot spring, and they just decided that that's what it was supposed to be. So.
And probably enough people got better.
Yeah.
Somehow, some way, that he kept the myth going.
Now, so Jesus went in there. He saw Simon on laying down. He went for him specifically because there was another paralyzed guy there. Why didn't he take care of that other paralyzed guy? Why did he only take care of one?
Well, that's a question I have for you. Does that make God unfair?
Yes. I don't know. I mean, because it depends. Like, why didn't he do that? Why would he just do one person when there was obviously another one right there? And we had the Roman guy like really confused and like calling him a scammer because he got up and walked away. Like he knew something. He knew that it was strange that guy got up and walked away. So what did he know that spring also was not real, or did he think it was real, and because they didn't get in the water, or, that leads questions to me as to what was going on there. But the fact that he did just the one person, now I understand why he did that one person, because later on, when his brother went to assassinate that guy, apparently Jesus didn't want that guy assassinated at that point, I'm thinking.
What you will find out is that Simon
Yeah.
becomes a disciple.
Oh, yeah, I kind of figured that would happen.
This is all leading up to Simon becoming a disciple. None of that is in Scripture.
Oh.
We do not know. We know that Simon is a zealot, but we have no idea how he became a disciple.
Huh. Well, that's interesting.
This is all backstory, fill-in backstory.
Okay.
The only biblical part is the tent of meat, is the tabernacle. Remember, they were building this. The disciples were building this tabernacle where they had dinner.
Okay.
They were going to sleep outside.
Yeah.
That is biblical.
Okay.
Jesus healing the man who was lame for 38 years is biblical. The rest of it is not biblical. And what I mean by biblical is it isn't in Scripture.
Right.
It's a story.
Okay.
And what you're telling me is someone who doesn't know Scripture doesn't know that.
Right.
Also doesn't understand what they're trying to do until the very end.
Okay.
And is lost without notes is lost.
Right.
And guy, can I tell you something?
Yes.
When I watched it the first time, I was lost too. I didn't get it. I didn't know where they were going.
Yeah. So it says here, quoted by Simon to justify the what is it? I don't know. I can't pronounce
Ecclesiastical.
Yeah, that too. 3:3. Quoted by Simon to justify the timing and nature of his actions as an assassin. I mean, so far I'm getting that he's trying to change everybody from deciding to kill other people to try to work things out with people. Because this is not the first time that he stopped fighting. And he did everything by, because his people, his disciples, if you will, wanted him to kill people or wanted him to, damn people. And he's walking away from that. Yes. So now we're talking about quoted by Simon to justify the timing and nature of his actions as an assassin. He stopped Simon from assassinating that guy. We don't know.
Simon said, when I see you walk, I'll believe the Messiah has come.
Okay.
Remember when they met at the pool, brothers met?
Okay.
Yes, and he said, and this is not biblical, but Simon said, I'll believe in the Messiah when I see you walk.
Okay.
And right before he was going to pull the knife, he looked at his brother walking by on the other side of that arch.
Okay. Okay. So
see, the underlying premise here is that Jesus can change a heart.
Right.
From a murderer to a follower.
Okay. Referenced in Simon's farewell letter to Jesse. Let's see. Reciting these passages during your mission preparation. Let's see. And I didn't know what this was. It Sukkot? The Feast of the Tabernacles. What is the Feast of the Tabernacles?
All right. The Feast of the Tabernacles is the nation of Israel was in the desert for 40 years, sleeping outside.
Okay.
And so Moses said, who was the leader of the people of Israel while they were in the wilderness, after they crossed the Red Sea, before they crossed the Jordan into Israel, they spent 40 years in the wilderness because of their stubbornness. Anyhow, they slept outside. And so once a year, you are to put a tent out, sleep 7 days outside, eat outside, sleep outside of your home to remember the people of Israel out of the desert for 40 years. It's a Feast of Tabernacle.
Okay.
And on the last day, there is a feast of food offered up to God. And so adult men would go to Jerusalem for this feast.
Okay.
Okay? They come from all over Israel to this feast. Right? Adult men were expected 3 times or 4 times a year to go to Israel, to go to Jerusalem. So they would walk and hike and ride donkeys or horses to Jerusalem for this feast.
Okay. Is that Shabbat or whatever that is?
Shabbat is our Sunday.
Okay.
That it's Shabbat goes from Friday at dusk to Saturday at dusk.
Okay.
And you're to do no work on that day. See, Jesus healed. He healed Jesse on Shabbat.
Okay.
That's why the Pharisee got upset that he picked up his mat and was going to walk, because picking up your mat was work.
Really?
God said, "Do not work."
Oh, that's
on
why.
Sabbath.
That's why the one guy came up to him.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
And Jesus healed him on the Sabbath on purpose.
Okay.
He did do that on purpose.
Okay. It says Exodus.
To stir things up.
It says Exodus 22:20, quoted by Simon when explaining his extremist zeal during his devotion to El Shaddai.
El Shaddai
Yeah.
is the name of God.
Okay. And then it says this episode beautifully fuses historical Jewish feasts, political tension, personal trauma, and scriptural reflection. Personal redemption, Simon's journey from vengeance-driven zealot to disciple begins with witnessing his brother's miraculous healing, illustrating spiritual transformation. By the way, his brother was not real happy that he disappeared and went away, and he made it known that he was forgotten about, or felt he was forgotten about by his brother. That was an interesting thing.
To change the subject, do you remember Jesus and Simon walking by the 3 men that were being crucified,
Yes.
and how they were looking at the crucifixion because Jesus is facing it, and Simon could have been, if he would have been captured after he murdered the Roman?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you imagine Jesus knowing he was going to be crucified, seeing this horror as he walked? Because the Romans would put the crosses right along the roadway and hang the murderers and the robbers and the rapists, and hang them there, crucify them, and let their bodies stay there as a warning to everybody else: do not commit a crime.
Yeah.
This is the punishment for committing a crime.
Did they really put the platform for them to stand on while they were in the crosses?
Yes.
I thought they were.
Yes.
I thought they were nailed all.
They were nailed to the platform.
Okay. Huh. That would be a weird way to die, a bad way to die. That would be a slow way to die.
Well, people say it's the most cruelest way to execute somebody.
Yeah.
And what they would do to hasten, because the soldiers got tired of sitting there waiting for them to die, so they break their legs. But what you do is you slump down and start to suffocate, and you take your legs and push yourself back up to breathe. And then you slump down again and start to suffocate. You have to push yourself up to breathe. And what they would do to hasten death is break your legs so you can't push yourself up anymore.
Jeez.
And then you'd suffocate to death.
That's insane.
The Romans were a master of cruelty.
Wow. I don't get it. I mean, it's so hard for me to understand why people hate people so much. Just, I don't know. See here. So it says, scriptural layers from candidate scriptures reciting during Sukkot to Simon's theological rationale for violence. This episode interlaces Bible text with character arcs. Then it says the Feast of Tabernacles. The inclusion of Sukkot adds deep meaning, celebrating God's presence among his people and reminding viewers of Jesus as the eventual fulfillment of God dwelling with us. So that's the notes I have for this episode.
So the question remains, not everyone gets healed. Like, I was supernaturally healed in my 20s. I would like to be supernaturally healed again so I don't have to wear this in boots for another 9 months.
I would imagine, yes.
Why did he heal me once and won't heal me again? Is God fair? I mean, that is the question you have to ask yourself. Is that fair? Is that right? He walked into that pool and there were multiple people there. That's factual.
Yeah.
He healed one person and walked away.
Yeah, that was kind of that was interesting. I didn't quite understand. Well, at first I didn't, but pretty much figured that it had to do with what happened in next. The making sure that if he had actually healed a bunch of people, it wouldn't have had the impact of why he healed. What was the one guy's name was Simon? Who was the other guy? Jesse.
Jesse.
If he had healed more than just Jesse, then the brother wouldn't have. It would have. The impact would have been the same probably, but maybe not to the people around to see that the one person, because that one person that he healed affected the chain of events where the guy would have died. So, I don't know. A lot of times we wonder why the baby dies and the killer doesn't die. A lot of times we can't understand that, and well, most of the time you can't understand why. So there's probably something.
The moral of the story is that life isn't fair.
Right. Which I knew that from the beginning. I don't count the things that go right or wrong in my life, because back when I used to count them, I wouldn't necessarily count the things that were good. I would only count the things that were bad. Now I don't count either of them. They happen. They're supposed to happen. That's the way I feel. I can only be the best person I can be, and that's. I learned a lot of stuff in my time that I would have, if you had asked me 40 years ago about any of this stuff, I could have never seen any of this happening. I can tell you I'm very thankful for where I am in my life right now. I've had a lot of crazy off-the-wall stuff happen that I would have never in my wildest dreams could have never really seen any of that. But I'm thankful that everything happened the way that happened. I mean, it all happened for a reason, and some of it I can explain. Others I don't have a clue. And if I was meant to know, I would know. But I don't dwell over that stuff. I don't sit there and say, well, if I only would have done this. I did that for many years with Pam dying. If I only would have done this, if I had done this, I can beat myself up all I want, and it's still not going to change the things that happened, and I can just learn from what has happened You know, that's the only way I can say it. I'm thankful for where I am. I'm glad I'm still alive. I never thought I'd be freaking this old. I thought I'd be going like my dad. You know, he died at 50. I thought for sure I'd be in that category. My older brother always said, you know, you're going to die young. Well, guess what? I beat you by 13 years so far. I showed him, doggone it. And, you know, I kind of do what I can to help others too. Tomorrow I'm going to have a friend and his wife come over, or girlfriend come over, and they're going to clean my house a little. And I know the only reason I'm doing it that way is because they need money, and I know I'd rather they feel like they don't owe me something. So I'm going to give them something to do. I've had them work for me before. I know they're hurting for money. I know they're in a bad situation, and I've given them money just because I could. But you know, I can't do that forever because they're not going to. First off, they probably won't take it, and if I give them something that justifies it, then everybody's happy. So I'm going to help them out again. I know they're hurting. I know that things aren't really that good for them, but I can help them a little bit. You do what you can to help others, and if you can't help others, you know, do something to make a difference in somebody's life. You know?
So, if Jesus would come back today, where do you think's one of the first places he'd go? To a nice church with nice red carpet,
no,
beautiful stained glass windows, and
he would be over there in Jerusalem right now doing what he's got to do to stop.
Well, I was going to say, would he be at the homeless camp in Harrisburg?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I would say that would be nice, but it's not. Those people aren't in danger. Those people, I mean, whereas maybe it would change their lives. I think there are other people that need it. That if I were Jesus and I were to come back right now, I would go to the places like Russia versus Ukraine. I would go to places like, you know, that are fighting over whatever they're fighting over. You know, people in homeless camps aren't in danger of being blown up by a rocket. You know, I would hope that would be where he was. I don't know. Where do you think he'd go?
He'd go to places where people. He said at one point, he said, "I've not come to people who don't need a doctor. I've come to people that know they need a doctor."
Right.
In other words, he would go to people that are in desperate need and will reach out to him. And he will ignore people who think they have it all. He said at another point, he said, it's harder for a rich person to get into the kingdom of God than for a camel to go through the eye of the needle, which is a gate in Jerusalem that's very hard for a camel to get through. And, you know, if you think you've got it all decided and you think you have it all covered and you think that your money's going to save you or your position and power or prestige is going to save you, he's not coming for you. He's coming for the person who knows they need help, knows they need a doctor for their sin,
right,
and knows that they need a savior. That's who he's coming for. And if that's in Ukraine or if that's in Jerusalem or if that's in the homeless shelter in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, that's where he'd be. I tell the guys in the rehab I volunteer at that if Jesus would come back, he'd visit the shelter and minister to you guys with your addictions.
Okay.
That's where he'd come.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know because of his. I mean, he has his agenda, so I don't know.
He's also filled with compassion.
Yes. But there's
And he comes with the hurting, and he comes for the people that need him,
right.
that know they need him. That's who he responds to. You know, he responds to people that are in a place of despair or a place of need that only he can satisfy.
Okay. Sounds like a fair deal. I personally am wondering where this is going to go from here. I want to see what, it's keeping me interested. Now that I've got my Cliff Notes, it's definitely more compelling for me to learn this, because as I'm less confused, I'm more in tune with what they're trying to tell me.
I show this. I'm 3 episodes behind us in the rehab center and ministry.
Okay.
And I'm going to have to, when I get to this scene, I'm going to have to explain this to them before I show it to them, or they're going to have no idea what's happening.
I can give you my Cliff Notes if you want.
Thank you.
I probably have them all, because it really does. It does.
Because if I don't do that, they're going to be extremely confused.
Right.
As you are eloquently portrayed without Cliff Notes or me explaining it to them, they're going to be lost.
Right. You understand it because you've read the Bible front, back, preached it, and all that other stuff. The common person,
just doesn't understand.
They may get it eventually, or they may, get the general idea. But the nice thing about this is that this when I saw this, I read this before I watched it, and then I knew, oh, that's Jesse. Oh, he fell out of the tree. Oh, that's Simon. Oh, okay. And I didn't realize that Simon had left him for so long. It was so long that he was very angry about his brother leaving him. And when I first read the Cliff Notes, I didn't make that realization that he was going to leave him and not see him for 30 years or whatever it was, 38 years. Yeah, I didn't make that correlation when I read the notes. And when it happened, I'm like, so he's been gone that long. And I'm thinking, no wonder he's mad at him. He just abandoned
it is true that zealots were not to see their families.
Okay.
Because their families could talk them out of being zealots.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, I feel that, I didn't have Cliff Notes for the first couple because, the first one I was really lost. I was really lost. Second one it was kind of, I wasn't quite as lost, but it was still, I didn't remember the people's names. Like, they never really mentioned, they might have said Jesse's name twice. And that's not a lot of times. They said Simon. Now, we got 2 Simons now, don't we?
Yes.
So that's the confusion there. It was like, wait a minute, don't we have a Simon already? Couldn't we have different names? Do we have to have the same name? That's the confusion too. I mean, Jesus should have had different names. What's that say? Catch it up. Oh, you got a cheat sheet.
I got a cheat sheet.
Okay.
Even I need a cheat sheet sometimes.
I'm glad I don't feel as dumb.
So if I need a cheat sheet who's been preaching the gospel for 45 years, can you imagine someone like you needing a cheat sheet?
Believe me, I can imagine it because I'm there. But yeah, I'm glad to see that because that makes me feel a little bit better. But I mean, really, honestly, for someone who doesn't have a clue about this, I think I'm doing okay. I think I'm
You're doing fine.
And I will, if you want my notes, I will send you my notes. It's actually, a lot of it is ChatGPT. I tell it it already knows what I want, and it brings up everything I want from the first time that I asked. It'll, when I say, give me this is the episode I want to do, it'll go through and it'll give me the
I'll tell you something. AI is wonderful, isn't it?
Sure. Do you know? Okay, here's a question. I don't think I ever asked this, so if I did, I'm sorry about that. what is the intelligence level, the IQ of AI right now, today?
It's probably closer to Einstein than not.
What would that be? I don't know what Einstein was.
About 160, 170,
Okay, it's at 120 right now.
and
And
120.
okay, that's the average. Now they anticipate by probably the end of the year we'll be at 180. So that's why I find AI to be such a good thing for me, because this is information. I mean, I'm using three AIs right now. Depends what I'm doing. I use ChatGTP as my number one thing, and I'm starting to organize myself. I didn't organize myself at the beginning. Now I have it organized, and like The Chosen has its own tab, because now the reason for that is AI is only going to remember X amount of stuff. So if you have different tabs, it'll remember what you did in that tab. Okay, so now next week when I say I'm on chapter 5 or whatever we're on, it'll give me a breakdown of chapter 5, and the following week chapter 6, and each time, because I have now when I do my you're not on Facebook, but I do these quotes that somebody would say that say I don't know, I didn't do a quote for them, but I'm thinking of say I did one from Einstein. I'll take that and put it in Copilot, and I'll just say this is a quote. Now it's used to what I want, so it will always. I don't have to ask for it anymore. I just put the quote in there, and it'll create a picture of that person and put the quote next to him, and I never have to say anything. Like it'll have a quote that says, Darwin said this, or it'll say something that it would say, and then it would say Charles Darwin, and then I put that quote into that chat, and it knows to put the picture of him and the chat and the quote together, so that I have one picture that's brand new. It's my own, and I can post that, and it looks like I'm smart. But it's
And
so
we all know you're not.
we all know, but there's a few people that don't know me yet. So, but ChatGTP is really it's come a long way in just the short period of time that I've been dealing with it, and they just updated to ChatGTP 5, I think it is, and Grok is free, and they actually integrated Grok into my car. So I'm interested to see how that's going to work. It's not doing anything right now, other than stupid little questions. But you can't control the car with that yet. But eventually you'll be able to call, say to Grok, "Hey, I just want to go here. I want to go to Doug's house," and then it would say, "Okay, here's how you go there." The thing is, it's becoming more and more interactive, and it's amazing to me that these things happen. All right, we'll move on to the next thing. I wanted to talk about my next car. If I get a new car and I have to name it, I got a new idea. And actually, I'm stealing it from somebody else. I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to name my car Kit. You know why?
Kit or Kip?
Kit. K-I-T-T.
Because that was the name of the car. What show was that?
It was Knight Rider, and here it is.
Knight Rider.
This is. And this is the thing. It's cool because now people want to get the new cars have that light on the front of their car. They want to get that light to be able to do what Kit did.
Go back and forth.
Yeah, that would be really cool. So that's my next car is going to be named Kit. So if I don't end up keeping this car, my next one's going to be Kit. But and the funny part is this kind of looks like a Tesla, kind of. And the new ones, the new Teslas have a light bar that go across the front. The Ys have that, and I thought that was really cool. So, Yeah, I kind of thought that was funny. I wanted to show that to you because I thought you'd get a kick out of that. Okay. Okay, so Tesla applies for the chance to supply energy across Great Britain. Tesla, of course, has the solar panels and stuff like that that can help supply. It says here that Tesla Energy Ventures, Elon Musk's subsidiary based in Manchester, has applied for a license in the UK regulator of, let's say, GEMS? No, I can't read it. It says of GEM to supply electricity to homes and businesses. That would be a big boost for them if they were to get that. Because I mean, they've got the solar panel system and stuff like that. It could be interesting to see if they get that far and get approved for that. Tesla shuts down Dojo supercomputer project. They've officially ended the Dojo supercomputer initiative, reassigning remaining team members to other compute and data center projects. About 20 key executives have left to join the new startup Density AI. Tesla's now shifting toward partnerships with chip makers like NVIDIA, AMD, and Samsung. Now, they just made a deal with Samsung. They're going to be doing Samsung's going to be making the chips of all their new stuff. Then it says Elon was granted $29 billion in Tesla shares. It says in light of Delaware court boarding his original $56 billion pay, the board has awarded him a grant of $96 billion. Oh, is that a million or billion? 96 million shares, valued at approximately $29 billion to secure his continued leadership amid the AI and robotics ambitions. The grant's conditional. Musk must return or forfeit it as the original package is reinstated. So that's kind of cool because he doesn't need the money. It's like not really needing money or anything. It's just that that's what he was offered before. Then OpenAI GTP 5 launch draws a stark warning from Musk. It has deeper integration with the Microsoft ecosystem. So we'll see what happens. It says OpenAI will eat Microsoft alive. Apple. Okay, so that's that stuff. Then I'm just doing these quick tidbits to try to get through some of these stories. Then it says Elon to sue Apple over App Store bias. So Musk claimed that Apple's giving preferential treatment to OpenAI's GTP and excluding his platform X and Grok from the App Store as the must-have section. They have different sections of that. So he's saying, we should be on that because most people, I don't know, I've gravitated away from X since they don't allow us to stream for free anymore. Grok 4 AI is now open and free to everyone. So that's kind of cool. And that's a powerful, that Grok 4.0 is really good. It's really, really powerful, but it still has some bugs.
Is that the platform that has the X-rated component to it?
I don't know. It says, well, it does say Elon Musk's XAI, but I think the X stands for he likes X's because he has Twitter that he changed to X, and
SpaceX.
Yeah, he likes X's. I don't think it has. I mean, I don't know, but I don't think it has anything to do with X-rated. Elon.
Well, in other words, somebody on Grok was able to have an X-rated image created.
Oh. Well, there
go
are
to ChatGPT and they will not do it.
Well, I got to tell you that well, okay, so I'll educate you the way you educated me with the Bible stuff. There are X versions of all the platforms out there. So where you're not supposed to be able to do that, you can do that. Okay, there is cracked versions, if you will, of all the platforms that are out there. I'm talking about Grok. I'm talking about Copilot. I'm talking about all those platforms out there. They have them locked down, but people have cracked them and can do everything with them. So yeah, it's not a Musk thing.
It's not foolproof.
Yeah, there are ways. There's always somebody out there that's causing issues. Tesla semi-mass production of it says here. Oh yeah, so they're expecting in 2026 we're going to see some more of the Tesla semi trucks. They're gonna be coming real soon. They've been talking about this for years and years, so it's interesting that they're finally getting to the point where they can do that. They're going to do that because the nice thing about that is that they're going to be full self-driving trucks, so you don't have to have a trucker. So I don't really understand how they're going to charge them, but that's a whole other thing. The new FSD version 14 is coming soon. They'll have a whole lot less nagging issues with them, where they're going to say, "Hey, you're not staring at the front of the car." All the things I get in trouble for. AI controversies and chatbot suspension. Grok ran into a controversy and was briefly suspended for new violations, underscoring the volatility of Musk's AI projects, even as he continues to push boundaries. Accusations fly about OpenAI CEO Sam Altman fired back at Musk, accusing him of manipulating X's algorithm in favor of himself and marginalized competitors. Talking about fraud. And then it says, let's see, that's the end of that. Okay. Then we got, I'm going to let that go and talk about that next week. I just have a few things on the main show roster. I want to talk about, there it is. So we've had a lot of shootings lately. I wanted to talk about the 3 shootings that we had last week. Do you realize that when we have 1 shooting, then all of a sudden we have 2 shootings, and then we have 3 shootings? Well, we've had 3 shootings in the past week. The one shooting was in the Target parking lot shooting in Austin, Texas, August 11th. A tragic attack unfolded in a Target store parking lot where 3 people were fatally shot, including a child. Another person sustained non-gunshot related injuries. Suspect was a 32-year-old man with documented history of mental illness, led the scene in a hijacked vehicle, later involved in multiple vehicle incidents, but he was ultimately apprehended by the police using a taser. That's crazy. I mean, really, seriously, this guy, these people, he didn't know anybody. He just shot him. I mean, I will never understand that. Killing 2 adults and a child before stealing 2 cars during the getaway. That's the one that was, when was the 11th? That was yesterday, right? Yeah. That was one of them. Then we had one in Baltimore. A mass shooting occurred in Baltimore Park Heights neighborhood, resulting in 1 fatality, a 38-year-old man, and injuries to 5 others, including a 5-year-old girl. I mean, I just never really got the whole mass shooting thing. So a group of people were sitting outside of the porch and up against the car eating when someone started shooting. Homicide detective units responded to the scene. The 5-year-old was shot in the hand and is expected to recover. Jerome Michael Coatson, 38, was found in critical condition and was pronounced dead Sunday. No suspects were identified. I just, it just really, it's sad when someone could actually kill someone and they don't even know them. And then the third one was the CDC shooting outside Atlanta. A cop did. Shooting left one officer dead and the suspect deceased by suicide. And this guy was apparently shooting. It's so weird because he was after the CDC because the suspect, 30-year-old Patrick Joseph White from Kennesaw, reportedly claimed to have suffered physical ailments as a result of the COVID-19 vaccine. His father reported him as suicidal to law enforcement hours before the attack. The gunman was allegedly refused entry to the CDC buildings before he posted up at the CVS facing the buildings, and shortly before 5, he killed a police officer, 33-year-old David Rose. Now, David Rose was a former military guy. It's funny, the guy, well, not funny, but the guy survived the military, only to be shot down by an idiot that was just a shooter. It's just so sad. It's so sad to me. I just never will get or understand people.
I have a theory.
What's your theory?
Now, you don't believe in this, but I do.
Okay.
I believe that these people, I don't want to say possessed, but highly influenced by demons.
Okay.
And what happens is after they shoot, many of them commit suicide. And I think it's because the demon leaves them and they're faced with what they've done and they can't deal with it. And they commit suicide.
I mean, that's a possibility. And I feel for the families that are all in pain because of this stuff.
Senseless. Totally senseless.
I mean, none of these guys, they woke up in the morning and they thought they were going to have a good day, and boom, they're dead. And the other week,
that's what happened on 9/11. Like, all those people went to work that day in the towers.
Yeah. And
none of them knew.
It's crazy. I mean, we had that shooting. Was that last week? Whatever it was. Oh, that one guy that was stabbing people in the Walmart the one time. It was stopped by a guy who was carrying his own gun. He made him get down and they arrested him. But what would cause a person to just start stabbing people? He wasn't after anybody in particular. You were there. You were possibly going to be one of those people. So I don't know. It just really, I don't know. It just scares me. There's so much. It doesn't make sense. So anyway, I'll leave on this. I can't believe it's after 10 already. Aging accelerates in middle age, according to this new research. Comprehensive study of protein changes in different organs over time suggests that aging is not linear. Researchers analyzed tissue samples from 76 individuals of Chinese ancestry, aged 14 to 68, who died of accidental brain injuries. They found an infection point around the age of 50, after which the pace of aging appeared to accelerate. The study also revealed different organs age at different rates, with blood vessels aging first. However, researchers caution rates with blood vessels aging first, and researchers caution larger studies need to be needed to confirm 50 is the definitive turning point. Oh, there's one other thing I ran across this video on YouTube that was really interesting. It was how people today versus people of yesterday age. Like they were showing pictures of, let me think what TV shows they were from. Like they were showing pictures of Lucy and not Ricky, but the old couple,
Fred
and Ethel, and how they were only like in their 40s, and they looked like they were like 80, and it was a whole bunch of old people back in that time, and it was showing these people, and then it would show their age, their actual age, and I'm like, holy cow, that guy's younger than me, and he looks like he's like, looks like he's 80. And I'll have to find that. I wanted to play it on the show, and I didn't remember to look it up. But it's going to be, that'll be for next week. It really was an interesting thing because I could turn the sound down so we won't get in trouble for stealing somebody's stuff. But the age of some of these people, like Miss B, Aunt B of freaking
Father Knows Best.
No, where Opie.
Oh
And,
yeah, Mayberry on.
Yeah. So like Aunt B was like, I don't know, like 40, and she played a woman that was like 60 or 70 because she looked so old. And they had a whole bunch of them that you're looking at like that. You don't believe it when you think about how old they really were versus what they were playing and stuff. It was funny. But I have to look that one up because that was one I wanted to put in the notes and I didn't do it, and I forgot all about it until just now because I was talking about that other thing. So anyway, well, that was an interesting show. I think we covered a lot of ground.
I think it was a good show.
Yeah, I liked it. It was. It definitely had some. I have some stuff.
You can definitely cut up some of the show and post it.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna have to start doing that. I got to get some time to do this, but this is stuff that I think we could definitely, like the Chosen stuff. I think would be a pretty good segment. So, anyway, all right. Anything else you want to talk about?
I just want to say goodbye to everybody. See you next week, and I will see you.
You'll be in the studio.
In your basement.
Yeah, that's good.
You're going to have to unlock the door so I can see who's scratching.
That's funny. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you. I'm looking forward to seeing you in person. So you're a good asset for this show.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing your school, and I'm looking forward to hearing your band play.
Well, you're going to see too much of me this coming week.
Well, then I'll have to take a couple weeks off so I can recover.
Yeah, you'll have to take off a year from the show because you'll be sick of me.
Too much, Michael.
Yeah, well, you can never have too much. Well, maybe you can. All right, that sounds good. I guess that's a wrap. Let me see here. Where's our thing at? Let's see. Where's it at? Where you at? I gotta put the right song up. Oh, what's this? We got an app? Oh, there's an app in here. I didn't know there was an app in there. That's interesting. All right, now I gotta find the outro. Got it in here somewhere. That would be it right there. It says outro. That's good. All right. We will convene next week. It'll be fun.
Good night.